Hey everyone, I'm here today with this week's weekly reading wrap-up. This week I read 3 books, 2 of which were audiobooks and 1 was a NetGalley book. So the first book I finished this week was The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and I actually listened to this on audiobook. And this is a reread for me. I read this several times as a child. This is my well-beaten childhood copy, all nice and yellow because it's so old. But yeah, I used to love this book as a child, and so as I'm trying to do more rereading this year, I thought, why not try this on audiobook? And I absolutely loved the experience. It was actually the free audiobook that I picked up off Audible quite some time ago. It was a sort of just kind of monthly deal to get it for free, and I really enjoyed it, and I actually gave it 5 stars. If you've never read this book, it is a children's classic about a young girl who lives in India and her parents die, and so she's got no one else, and she ends up being taken in some sort of uncle or someone like that, kind of distant relative in the UK in the Yorkshire Moors. And that's a really different setting for her, and she's used to getting her own way and having sort of servants and whatnot in India, and so it's quite an adjustment for her to go to somewhere where she isn't a spoilt little brat, basically, and she sort of has to do some growing up, and she learns to sort of entertain herself outside. And this is where the whole secret garden part of the story comes into it. And I won't tell you anything else, but if you've not read this, what planet have you been on? It's a children's classic and it's fantastic, and everyone I know that has read this loves and adores this, so you need to give it a go. The second book I finished this week was another audiobook, and that was Rudyard Kipling's The Mowgli Stories. And this was sort of a specially made audiobook for Audible that has quite a few sort of famous actors and voice actors in there, and it was really well put together. So it has got Bill Bailey, Richard D. Grant, and a handful of other people, and honestly, like, this book is so well put together. It's got 4 stars pretty much just for quality alone. I mean, the story was cute too, and it was a nice, really quick read. And again, I think it's one that I picked up for like free, I think, or else very, very cheap at some point in some really cheap sale on there. And I really enjoyed this. It was really quite different to anything you'd sort of associate with the Jungle Book, with like sort of the traditional sort of Disney version. And it's been quite a while since I've read the actual Jungle Book, like proper book, so I'm not really sure how much it fits in with that, but this was a really fantastic read, and I gave it 4 stars. And if you did pick this up on Audible while it was on discount or free, whichever it was, then I highly recommend it. As I said, it's so well put together. The voice acting is such quality, and I think this would be a really fantastic one to play to children, because as I said, it's just put together in such a fantastic way. It will keep any child's attention. And so the final book that I finished this week is the book that I got from the publishers via NetGalley, and that was Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. And this is a YA fantasy novel, which I gave 4 stars to in the end, and it was basically 4 stars because I really struggled to get into it in the beginning. This is a YA fantasy novel, as I said, that actually has a gender fluid main character, and so that will be something that will catch a lot of people's eyes. Let me just say right now though that if you're going into that alone, you may not enjoy it. But I really enjoyed this because it focuses on a character named Sal, who is a thief. And Sal basically finds out about this competition to get into the Queen's left hand. And that is basically her assassins. And there is a position available. And so to get into that position, you have to enter a competition or audition. And so Sal enters this competition and finds out that it's actually a fight to the death. And the problem with this is that there are many other people involved who are in a lot better position to try and win this position. And it's really tense, it's really atmospheric, and it's really quite imaginative. I feel like this is a combination between The Selection, The Hunger Games, and probably Throne of Glass. Now, I've not read Throne of Glass, so that's a guesswork. I'm going on the assassin idea here, but definitely sort of a cross between The Selection and The Hunger Games, with more fantasy thrown in and the assassin part thrown in. And I really enjoyed this. Like I said, I did struggle with it in the beginning, and I didn't think I was going to get on with it at first, because the first, not even quarter, but the first little bit was quite difficult to get into. It was quite boring, there was nothing pulling me in, but the moment I got to the competition, that's it, I was hooked and I couldn't put this book down. So I highly recommend it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. I've got a full spoiler review for this, so I'll leave that linked in the description and also in the cards. So that is all I read. I'm currently reading on Kindle Fierce Kingdom by Gin Phillips, and I'll probably be finishing this one tonight, not gonna lie, because it's so tense. It's about a woman who is at a zoo with her child, and just as they are leaving, there is a gunman, and so they run and take cover, and oh my goodness, it's just like, it's so gripping. My current audiobook is Dearly Devoted Dexter by Jeff Lindsay, and this is the second book in the Dexter series. And my current physical book is Night Film by Marisha Pessel. Yes, I finally picked that one back up after reading it for nearly a year on and off by just leaving it on the wayside, picking it up, reading a page. I'm now properly reading it, so I'm hoping to be done with that soon. So it's time to pick a book out of my TBR bucket. It has been a while since I've read any of these, but I still have to keep picking one out each week. It's my rule. One's just fallen out. I'm not picking you. You can't just jump out. Right, I've got one. I wonder what it'll be. A Pocket Full of Shells by Jean, I can't read my own writing, Reinhardt or something like that. The cover will be here next to me, so you will have a better idea of what that name is than me with my awful writing here. I don't know what this one's about. I can't remember this one at all. I don't remember picking this one up. I've got no idea why I've got it, so yeah, I'm clueless. But by the time I have edited this, I will know what the book is about, and hopefully it's one that I will want to get to sooner rather than later. So that is it for this week's weekly reading wrap up. Please let me know what you have read recently, whether you've read any of these books or planning to read any of them, whether you're reading any of my current reads, as I know Fierce Kingdom is a book that quite a few people have been picking up recently. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me just there if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye!